Welcome, everybody. This is the manuscript Synchronous Universe you may be familiar with if you have been part of the community here on YouTube. The upcoming series of videos will present this material page by page for a thorough, digestible resource, enabling the individual deeper insights and awareness through honorable efforts to study the power of the occult and esoteric undercurrents within. Thanks for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos regarding the exploration and unraveling of your boundless creative potential. Chapter 3, Part 2. Chakra System, Emotions, Equilibrium, and Expressions of Consciousness. Chakras are centers within the individual, translating frequency from a higher dimensional nature into glandular hormonal responses affecting the entire physical body. Each of the chakras is associated with either a major nerve center or major endocrine gland. Connecting to the 7 celestial luminaries, incoming frequencies from the cosmos, the waters above, can be reattuned to these lower octave energy bodies within the individual. To awaken Kundalini in tantric yoga practice, the energetic serpent rises up the chakras to the crown or the 1,000-petal lotus. With this, the adept are capable of attaining blissful unity with infinite consciousness. The human body is the most exquisite technology in the possession of the individual, and awakening the divine within has been an ancient sacred practice for thousands of years. In the ancient perspective, language is the direct expression of the vibration produced, not a metaphor. In other words, utilized directly as its frequency resonance. Thus, power of mantra, words of specific frequencies that conduit a specific charge, amplifying and intertwining the connection of human with the divine intelligence. Visualization of the energy points, accompanied with proper vocal frequency resonance, may also be stimulated to increase healing the body, spiritually reattuning higher and lower chakra centers to equilibrium. Om, one of the most well-known mantra, the word of creation. Also, Om Mani Padme Hum, or jewel in the lotus. 1. Root chakra, Muladhara, red. Base of the spine, Kakajil, stability, security, vitality, grounding when in balance. To balance, grounding, embodied, calm, sense of safety, stable, centered, trust in self and environment. Mantra, Lam. When unbalanced, insecurity, fear, anxiety, low self-esteem, underweight, instability, anemia, constipation. 2. The sacral chakra, the Svadhisthana, orange, behind the navel. Healthy relationships, self-worth, healthy sense of sexuality, creativity, empathy when in balance. And to balance, separate from a hypersexualized nature, the lower animal self. Come into harmony with all toxic relationships and eradicate fear, isolation, anxiety, and lust. Lust and fearful thought are 2 of the lowest vibrational desires in the animal nature of human being, manifesting hell. Develop self-worth, productive and creative outlets, healthy relationships, empathy, and honorable confidence. When unbalanced, over-sexualized and lustful nature, low confidence or false confidence, and toxic relationships. The mantra, Vam. 3. Solar plexus chakra, Manipura. Yellow, center of torso along the midline, the spine, just below the sternum and above the navel. positive self-identification, healthy self-esteem, clean food consumption, proper digestion, and strong willpower in balance. And to balance, refrain from overindulgence and overeating, develop a strong willpower, balance metabolism, positive self-identification, being effective and useful to others. When unbalanced, overeating, weakened and unbalanced metabolism, gluttony, low self-esteem, low confidence, abusing power, self-shaming, weakened willpower. Mantra, Ram. 4. Heart chakra, the Anahata. Green, behind the sternum, in the center of chest, close to the physical heart. Equilibrium of the chakra system and most powerful magnetic center in the toroidal field or the electromagnetic biofield. The heart is the tree of life inside of the body, 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain. Love, trust, understanding, faith, compassion, balance, forgiveness when in balance. When unbalanced or blocked, difficulty giving or receiving love, lack of compassion, lack of love or loving too much, lack of connection to divine or nature, loneliness, lack of emotional fulfillment. To balance, be loving kindness to yourself and others. Find balance in all relationships in life. Once the individual has surpassed the heart chakra, raising vibrations from the lower, more dense and physical chakra centers become spirit through the heart as a much lighter and powerful form of potentia. Please note, this is a long process, not an overnight fix. This is the challenge and difficult journey of the spirit unraveling the life experience, physically and mentally. Now, to continue ascension in the chakra system. Mantra, Yam. 5. Throat chakra, Vishuddha. Blue, center of the larynx, base of the throat. Communications and self-expression is blocked or unbalanced when the blocking the voice in your head, lack of self-expression, putting on a front, lying to self and others, being deceptive and manipulative, and being egotistical. To balance, be authentic, be genuine in your self-expression. Do not barricade the voice that is within you and allow it to expand outward through communication, speech, creative process, and honorable self-expression. Do not lie to people or yourself. This is another powerful chakra located in the upper tier of the chakra system. Mantra, Ham. 6. Third eye, the Muladhara. Elaine, the eye of Horus, or inner eye, chakra. Indigo, center of the forehead, in center and behind the eyebrows in the head. Associated with the pineal or the pineal gland. Responsible for secretions of melatonin and serotonin over the 24-hour day period. Along with the pituitary gland, this area is the most stimulated by brain wave patterns and by fluctuations in the electromagnetic field. The reason for their extra sensitivity is the presence of magnetite in minuscule quantity in the ethmoid bone. When unbalanced, lack of visualization, lack of imagination, blocked or clouded intuition, lack of concentration, over-reliance of reason and logical or intellectual thinking. To balance, as mentioned in detail in the previous chapters, cultivating the faculties of the power of the mind via meditation, imagination, visualization, concentration, listening to the spirit within, the intuition or inner voice. Also, removing consumption of processed foods, as the chemicals contained in these ingredients are harmful to human biological and cellular communication systems. Mantra: Aum. 7. Crown chakra, the Sahasrara. Purple, very top of the head, radiating upward. Cosmic connection to God, all, Source, the omnipresent universal intelligence, connecting to divine life spirit within and without. When unbalanced, dis-ease of the mind, mental disorder, fear, lustful, materialistic, inhibited memory and learning, lack of emotion, and repression of the spirit. To balance, express gratitude, being peaceful, being grounded, developing inner gnosis and critical thinking skills, being direct and honorable with your intentions. Mantra: Ah. To note, mantras listed to each chakra are vocal primers for activating the specific energy field corresponding to the frequency resonance of the sound. Science calls it electrical energy and magnetism. In the animal and plant kingdoms, we call it life force. The yogi calls it prana, the breath of life. Whether one wills to call it God, prana, life force, Holy Spirit, Allah, Om, divine intelligence, or simply life, permeating aether and all organisms in living existence of the universe, this life energy force is perpetuated in fluidity everywhere. Every cell in the body has an electromagnetic biofield that creates toroidal energy patterns of interweaving frequencies, geometric configurations holding particular vibrationary rates, radiating from within the body and expanding outwards. Mother Earth herself has a massive electromagnetic biofield radiating within and expanding with the same life force intelligence. It is the responsibility of the individual to recognize the flow of communications and divine essence within, balance and harness this infinite power in its highest vibrational frequencies, such as loving kindness, gratitude, health, and wellness of mind, body, and spirit, truth, sweetness, prosperity, abundance, forgiveness, wholeness. Just as these forces have boundless potential in higher vibrational states of thought and expansion, if the individual induces thoughts of poverty, sickness, envy, hatred, lust, these vibrational energy patterns will develop just as certainly. A clogged intestinal tract, due to improper eating and or neglect, even thoughts can knot up a stomach into a rock of tension. It will weaken the electromagnetic life force of the body, potentially causing illness, dis-ease, and can lower ambitions to be productive and live. When the organs of the body are not healthy, functioning out of harmony, gloom and pessimism may take the place of joyfulness of mind. The power of God to heal the body, the dis-eased and perturbed mind, the broken-hearted and apathetic, the nihilistic, the empty pocketbook. As divine intelligence, when properly convened within, manifests through the honorable intentions of the individual. Thoughts are a medium between soul, the life spirit, and all that is, God, expanding into manifestation as a collective of moments and memories interweaving in the life experience. Every breath is a reflection of subconscious action, every heartbeat, all secretions of internal glands, every palpitation of the liver, all blood and bodily fluids are functioning in well-being or ill in balance or imbalanced, according to the train, the frequency of thought and actions of the individual. In this moment, the present state of the body, the spirit vessel, is directly linked to the formative principles, fluid in consciousness, primarily actions carried via subtle bodies and the subconscious mind. Dear astral traveler, it may be clear at this point, but nonetheless important to remember. We do not have to know how the energy of the universe works or debate whether one calls it Om, Tao, God, Allah, Divine Mind, the Oversoul, Samadhi, Kami, Brahm, Prana, Divine Life Force, Omnipresence, the All Eternal, the Spirit of God. One with all that is. Embrace this with the ability to respond within. The spirit is in perpetual emotion. Energy in motion equals self-contemplation, while with the physical vessel. B. Quote, think well about great things, and know that thought is the only reality in this world. Lift up nature to thine own stature, and let the whole universe be for thee no more than the reflection of thine own heroic soul. End quote. Cervantes. Chapter 3, Part 3. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Dear student of God and astral traveler, one must not harbor recollections of misfortune, trouble, and sin. One must grow to transmute them, to find the balance and equilibrium of peace within, peace of mind and spirit. Whatever an individual thinks of God will be reflected into the physical world. To live rightly in the present is to keep the mind clear. Faith in the silence of meditation and repose, and faith in thoughts and honorable actions within the soul of the individual. Honest and tolerant faith will course the smallest thread to find the light of truth and will grant to other individuals the same freedom of search and contemplation, the life spirit, the eternal principle of the creative process within the individual, life-giving force. Faith that is absolute is confident in its pursuit to success, no matter which form that may be for the individual. It means the individual has convinced of what has yet to be seen. Unconquerable faith believes in God and all creation. One who has sinned may be saved in this world, as the life-giving force of God is in the soul of the individual. There is nothing mysterious about faith. It is not elusive or difficult to find. It is within, right now, and able to be harnessed with proper intention of thoughts and actions. Whether one is aware of this power within or not, it constructs and shapes belief in something, whether it be benevolent or malevolent. What is important is the degree of faith the individual realizes and how it is applied. And also, it is the degree of belief which conditions the intellectual status of the individual and collective mind. All ages have been ages of faith in different modes and varying degrees of belief. When arts appeared, when national movements commenced, when there was any extraordinary powers or performance, when there was phenomena of the great epics, when great poems and literary works were written, when heroes existed, the soul of the individual was committed and thoughts were fixed on spiritual verities. This is a great time to ask yourself, what is your faith, and who do you listen to? If the faith of the individual be vested in the churches and dogmas and creeds and men in the next new thing, faith can take a much lesser degree as a meek submission to the teachings and guidance. Force and signification of the word faith fluctuates according to the prevailing conception of a religion at any given time. For the individual whom has faith in God, the light will reveal itself within as truth unravels from soul via the life spirit or Christ consciousness. Thus, the individual measures everything by their life experience and consciousness, first from within, as a child of God and astral traveler of the universe. Faith in all that is, God, divine life force intelligence, Om, cannot be obscured by knowledge, but rather reveal all that is. And by revealing God, we understand ourselves, and the more we convene with understanding ourselves, the more faith we harness. If the individual is running away from the battlefield of life, turn around and face your enemies and worries. Presto, they have disappeared. Face the difficulty and harness the potential and willpower to be honorable and resolute with finding solution to your challenges. This is an ideal time to pause for a break in the material, as there is lots of parts to the whole to review. This course is intended to enhance the inner awareness of the divine faculties within the individual and how to develop healthy relationships with individual energy patterns, thoughts, emotions, habits, and actions. If it feels overwhelming to digest, give as much time as necessary for the mind to integrate and unravel truth as the notes are internalized and contemplated within the individual. It is important to take as much time as is needed for this to balance, for the creative process to expand and reach its healthy potential. Stay consistent, traveler. The adventure is only beginning to unravel. Chapter 4. Fluid Universe. Energy, Vibration, Frequency. All life is vibration. Ethereal vibrations permeate everything in the world and universe, the sunlight, photonic waveforms across an electromagnetic spectrum. Only a minuscule amount of this spectrum can be visibly detected through the physical senses. Human perception of light produces color, effects, according to shorter or more rapid vibrations on the retina of the eye. This light is processed within the mind, just as the sound, as all is mind. The sensation of color is the different oscillatory reactions of matter, atoms, to incoming frequencies of energy. Colors have differing levels of energy refraction. Black absorbs and white reflects. Visible light frequencies range between 430 trillion waves per second in red and 750 trillion waves per second in violet. The entire electromagnetic spectrum has frequencies between less than 1 billion waves per second, radio waves, and greater than 3 billion waves per second, gamma rays. Light waves are sinusoidal waveforms of energy patterns, and the amount of energy in a waveform is proportional to its frequency. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and all of the combinations and mixtures in between. Please refer to notes regarding the chakras along with this chapter. Not only are individuals sometimes unconsciously receiving vibrational impressions of negative thought frequencies, but also for wrong vibrations of color. Colors play an important role with temperament and physical soundness. All shades of frequencies of color affect our health due to varying degrees of vibration, much of which is done subconsciously. The electromagnetic spectrum may be thought of as being composed of a complete spectrum of colors of pure energy or pure radiation. The color of the energy is determined by its frequency or equivalently its wave number, energy, or temperature. Aforementioned in the first paragraph, humans are visibly limited to a minuscule 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum. So, lowest to highest vibrations of color are ordered red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and highest to lowest vibrations are ordered respectively violet, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. The remaining 99.997% is invisible and unseen, however, very much alive and facilitating the majority of operations of the omnipresent laws in the universe. An important note here is this, astral traveler. Individuals are all sending and receiving stations for thought frequencies, sound frequencies, and other frequencies permeating Earth and the etheric waters, both above and below. Additionally, exposure to the lower energy fields for extended time periods, such as working on a computer or watching the television, can cause chronic fatigue syndrome, epilepsy, nervous system disorders, and more disease within the mind and body. As beings of electricity and magnetism, the mental receiving station can be lowered or heightened as changing states of vibration, likening or magnetizing internal conditions to the external conditions. Every given thought, vibration immediately modifies every atom in the biofield. Every cell is affected and biochemical changes react in report to the impressions, the energy intensities, and repetition of the mental action, the vibration of thought. Essentially, we are electrical and magnetic receiving stations for either positive or negative vibrational currents in accord with universal law. All organisms are surrounded by electromagnetic fields that can change under electrical fields in the environment, having direct effect on growth, health, and vitality of the life form. Particular environmental distortions can cause biological damage on a cellular level, shifting them out of balance, and can cause anything from headaches, nausea, and blackouts to cancer, mutated cell bodies, genetic damage, epilepsy, leukemia, to these electromagnetic biofields. If one is going to be selfish, timid, destitute, petty, the thought frequencies one has permeated in universal ether will expand and contact a mental receiving station of the same frequency. Birds of a feather flock together is similar to animal magnetism and the power of thought and faculties of mind. Contrarily, the individual makes it prerequisite to raise vibrations of thought by applications of faith, love, health, strength, courage, powerful mental action of higher vibrations of thought, strengthens the sending and receiving station of the mind. This attracts or magnetizes the universal ether of thought potentia to the consciousness impressions likened to health, love, peace, abundance, power, strength, courage. Unravel your energy patterns, astral traveler, student of God, through divine faculties of the mind of God, your intuition, through understanding and careful direction of intention within the first eye. Be one with all that is, the unity of the Spirit in all things. This note is to suggest to the student of life to embrace the chaos in this experience. No matter how sour or how sweet, the willpower is focused within, intentions to balance the life spirit, and in all relationships one cultivates and experiences in this journey. The beginning point is here and now, not in a time or a place, but in the mode or frequency of thought. Realization is the point of origination of life spirit to produce something out of nothing. That is self-contemplation of the spirit, the creative process within the individual, born from the darkness and blueprint of the imagination. Chapter 4, Part 2. Ritual Resonance Radiation. Mentioned in the Peaks and Valleys Traveler's Guide, Mother Earth herself is breathing, with an electromagnetic field of her own. Known as ELF, or extremely low frequencies, the Earth's frequencies correspond with the human alpha brainwave frequencies. This is the frequency at which the individual enters sleep, awakes from sleep, deep meditation, inspiration, and problem solving. Earth's Schumann resonance are natural rhythms inspiring sacred places to be constructed in order to obtain a direct line of communication with the divine. Some of these, which include Machu Picchu, Newgrange, Stonehenge, Chartres Cathedral, and the pyramids of Egypt and Mexico. Cymatics, the study of vibrations produced by sound resonance. Experiments have shown to produce recognizable hieroglyphs in sand patterns when sacred frequencies are activated inside the Great Pyramid. Brain mappings known as electroencephalograms, or EEG, record the electrical signals produced by the brain, which have shown humans have a much deeper connection to the universe and the music of the celestial luminaries. The mind-expanding alpha rhythms, or frequency, is 7 to 13 Hz, while the ionosphere, Earth's upper atmosphere, physically positioned between the cosmos and the Earth, has a frequency of 7 to 10 Hz. Here, the messengers of the luminaries, gods, and the photonic power of solar rays feed the Earth with light and power. Through proper resonance of frequencies, the individual attuned can traverse to the gates into higher spiritual planes of consciousness. Electromagnetism stimulates the very process of life and all its various forms. DNA is helical shaped, acting as a resonant coil, receiving vibrational stimuli from a field of higher consciousness or divine intelligence, connecting the individual with the collective, all, the oversoul. DNA is largely crystalline in nature, found everywhere in the hair, blood, skin. The heart muscle system contains liquid crystal structures that have sympathetic resonance with ruby and emerald crystal. Different crystal types with different shapes and forms have the ability to radiate, reflect, store, and transmute electromagnetic energy in different ways and at different levels. For example, note the prism, which can divide light into its wavelength or color spectrum. All organs and subsystems emit specific electromagnetic frequencies that are measurable, subtle vibratory fields. Much of the circuitry of this electromagnetic field is in the brain. Naturally occurring particles of magnetite, magnetic iron oxide, are a source of magnetism in brain cells and, in response to a small incoming magnetic field, produce small amounts of electricity. The universe, interwoven with various frequencies of rhythmic vibrations, with which the individual can attune to specific natural frequencies, charging the body, amplifying healing and balancing the EMF, or electromagnetic biofield. Indeed, Earth's EMF of vibrational resonance are in collaboration and communications with the incoming waveforms from the cosmos. As it is recorded in laws of physics, matter is mostly space, that is 99.9%, where millions of atoms are moving so rapidly at speeds which surpass what the eye can register. All-pervading consciousness, God, fills space between all things and is the field of quantum potential surpassing the physical that manifests at different levels, lightness, and density. With this to note, the creative process within the individual, the life spirit, is consciousness, which is the ultimate creative imagination, the mind of God, the total sum and the origin of consciousness. Vedic texts identify this all-pervasive consciousness, Purusha, the son of all beings, mobile and immobile, quote unquote. Majority of ancient sacred buildings and sites are geared to certain times of the year. The longest day of summer and the longest day of winter are the solstices. The equinoxes are the only days when day and night are equal in length. Neolithic builders were well aware of the power of sound frequencies in the universe, as waveform shapes and configurations can be seen today and has been well documented, were carved into their ancient ritual sites and stones of ancient buildings. Specific placement of the pieces of these ancient sites and buildings align with universal geometric patterns that require precision in understanding, down to the degree to accurately calculate these celestial movements in relationship with Mother Earth, geo, earth, and metri, to measure. Gaia, also a Greek word meaning divine earth or earth goddess. Jeb is the name of the ancient Egyptian god who represented earth, which predates the Greek. The expression of this profound knowledge of geometry is through sound in language, as the atmosphere of the site connect the harmonized resonance of human voice and the earth's resonance, connecting directly with the sun and cosmos of the universe. Music, to the ancients, as well as liturgy and intonations, was to harness and transmute into the earth forms of cosmic energy and keep a connection in harmony with humans and the heavens. Hieroglyphs themselves are an emotional expression of a universe comprised of patterns of sound. One word could mean many things in the ancient world, numerically, philosophically, linguistically, much different than modern-day alphabet and use of many words. This is also a great time to note the Fibonacci pattern, displaying its spiral fervently and lively, present in much of nature when we observe carefully. The 5-8 golden ratio, a sequence of numbers in which each number is the sum of its two predecessors, starting at 1, is shown in the sunflower, windstorm, leaves, the human body, tree branches, flower petals, pine cones, plant leaves, galaxies, animal shells, even whales. And guess what else? The apexes of the pyramids that comprise the Giza Plateau are positioned along the curve of a Fibonacci spiral. The name of the ancient area is Rostau, meaning both place of the cross and symmetry. These notes are to acknowledge the ancients and the profound degrees of awareness and the operations of the universe. Uni meaning one or mono, and verse meaning word or chord. Within, as so without, or as above, so below. This emphasizes the title of this work, as unraveling the past illumines the inner eye, awakening the higher states of consciousness within the individual in the present, increasing awareness of universal patterns, both chaotic and synergetic. Also, one may note the importance of these ancient rituals and traditions, and how they take many shapes and forms in language or vibrational resonance across civilizations over periods of time. Indeed, there is a direct correlation between music frequency, consciousness, and the divine intelligence of the universe. The energy spheres noted earlier, or chakra vortices, were well understood by the ancients. The 7 chakras, the 7 celestial luminaries, the Sun, Moon, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, and Saturn. The 7 musical notes, the 7 vowels of ancient language, the doubling of A and O being the 2 not in our current vowel system, along with A, E, I, O, U. All of these frequencies interwoven esoterically and perpetually permeating all consciousness in the universe. Vowels were originally hidden, powerful frequencies, mostly intended for names attributing to God and for other sacred practices. The combinations spell the name of the living one. Vowels, in this sense, are to language what consciousness is to existence. When particular names are chanted, similar to mantra, the reciter resonates to the frequency of the sphere. This is similar to Tantra. Through visualization and vocalization recites a particular mantric resonance to invoke the spirit of a particular deity. Utilized by Tibetan monks, this unites the practitioner with the spirit being visualized, and the energy is channeled through the individual and ritual. All of this to say, astral traveler, the resonance of the universe exists within all of life. And the spiritus, meaning breath in Latin, is the life force intelligence capable of making sounds with the instrument of voice by air and pressure passing through the divine technology of the human body. This sound is the voice of the divine resonance that the individual is responsible to develop a relationship with. For this is the expression of the soul of the individual, intertwined with the divine life intelligence and infinite creative potential. The omnipresence of all that is. This is the Word, God, whose name means voice, expressed all around us within the universe. To quote John chapter 1, verse 1, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." End quote. At this time, I encourage the reader to contemplate the importance of loving kindness and helping one another when assistance is needed. That is, helping each other remember the divine that is within us all, helping ourselves remember at the same time that this divine intelligence that surges through all that is, as the great architect, has interwoven the collective consciousness with life force, prana, divine intelligence, Om, God. Additionally, please reference the chapter on the chakra system to develop practical methods for embracing a pure expression of self. Harnessing power of the throat chakra as well as other chakra vortices to balance and heal self, and assist with the development of benevolent relationships with others. Much of this is giving time to feeling the roller coaster of emotions or energy in motion, harnessing the energy and transmuting life force or creative potential into healthy modes of production. A human being. The purpose is life. Practical method is noted in prior chapters as well as in the first book, Peaks and Valleys. Closing thoughts for the reader. An author's note. As a perpetual student of Life University, perception of the individual will unravel holistic awareness through honorable efforts to illumine the creative universe and potential within. This is not I, the author, telling you what is true in any form or fashion. As established previously in the foundation for this material, Peaks and Valleys, will reiterate to the life student and magus. These notes are to be a resource in the tool belt of consciousness to stimulate the mind, body, and spirit to amplified states of loving awareness and for unraveling boundless creative potential within. To convene with all that is, the divine life force intelligence, God. Honorable thought and intention is embedded in the purpose of sharing this with every individual who comes into contact with the material. May this be internalized for the abundance of health and well-being, for love and understanding, developing and nourishing all relationships with willpower and agency, tolerance, and honorable intention in the life experience, with God and all that is, as within, so without. Expand with what resonates with you and develop a healthy relationship with this collection of notes. Convene the spiritual sun inside of you, traveler, soul bearer, and breath of life spirit. Remember, the divine immortal soul spark within is yours to embrace through tribulation as the life journey unravels. The darkness within is the blueprint of the imagination, the infinite creative potential within the mind, and must be traversed. A responsibility, or as we have gently rephrased, the ability to respond. As above, so below. You nor I are ever alone, traveler, but rather all one, within and without. The universe, or one word. Remember, do not make demands for which you desire. Do not act out of fear or frivolity. Be gentle and calm your heart. Ask for what you will. The truth is hidden in plain sight, for those who wish to seek shall find. What you sow, you will reap. May this material be utilized to protect your prana and cultivate a healthy relationship with all that is. May you find balance in your steps, traveler. Please take care on your endeavors. Peace in chaos.